It is once again time for us to break down all the things that are WWE this week, from news, action in the ring, the terrible storyline and promos that we have this week. Get ready for that. And we're going to fantasy book Clash of Champions. With me as always is Byron.
Champions.
With me as always is my consigliatory Byron.
I'm a sigulatory?
Yeah.
I prefer to be known as Wrestling Society Y.
Indeed. So let's start off with Raw. Did you watch Raw and SmackDown this week?
Yeah. I watched Raw, and then I perused SmackDown. I watched pretty much all the things that I needed to watch, I think.
Awesome. This conversation can be a little more two-way than usual.
Hey man, I'm trying. You just talk and talk and talk and talk, and then it's over.
Well, it's because you admit that you don't watch it most of the time.
I've been watching the last couple of weeks because actual things have been actually happening.
All right, let's. So we open up with Samoa Joe bringing us in. He is not impressed with the Shield. Calls out Roman Reigns to finish their business, and there was a bit of a weird thing where the other members of the Shield are watching on the Titantron, and Seth Rollins is like, "Go get Roman."
Yeah, I'm glad that this gave Joe an opportunity to talk an immense amount of shit, but it was very poorly done.
The delivery was fantastic, as Joe is always, but the substance was lacking.
No, I'm not talking about Joe. Everything Joe said was gold, magical, wonderful, came from the lips of unicorns. All of that stuff. Joe was amazing, but the rest of it was shit. The fact that they had to cut away for an extended view into the back, and then there was an extended part where somebody had to go find him. This is a produced TV show. Come on.
Yeah, it's like Roman wasn't where he was supposed to be, like, legitimately.
Maybe he was in the back rolling a fatty. I don't know. Or smoking pot.
Anyways, Roman comes out. We get a brawl. Cesaro and Sheamus come out. And then the Shield is out there. And, in the end, the Shield gets beat down by the heels.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Then we had Bayley and Mickie James with Sasha versus Paige, and Mandy Rose with Sonya Deville. I did note that Sonya Deville was not in the match, which I think probably conveys a level of distrust in her work. I don't know. She's been growing on me. Those last two matches with Ruby Riott, as much as the nose holds bar should have been won by Ruby and not Sonya, they were pretty good, actually.
Yeah, that's almost entirely on Ruby Rose's shoulders. I'm just saying, Sonya Deville did a good job being present and doing what she needed, what she was told she needed to do.
But that's kind of my point, is that there was a time, like, we're talking literally just like 2 months ago, where she couldn't even do that. So correct. There's progress.
That is correct. The downside to this whole shenanigans is they put actual microphones in people's hands that weren't Paige. That should not happen. These two should not be talking. They can't yet at all.
I didn't mind Sonya Deville on the mic, but Mandy Rose is a long way from a finished product.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole put your hair up and square up. Like, what are you going to put that on a t-shirt? That's adorable.
Yeah, well, that's WWE's need for a catchphrase coming in.
Yeah.
I don't blame the deliverers. I blame WWE.
I'm also kind of getting tired of Paige already. I had never, ever, ever seen her do anything in the ring, period, until this whole comeback thing. She'd been injured for 6 or 7 years or some shit like that. No idea.
Not that long, but yeah.
9-10 decades.
During the era of Paige, you weren't watching.
Yeah, so I've never seen her in the ring. She's fine in the ring. I don't have a problem. She's still rusty because she hasn't been wrestling for a while.
This was notably better than her match with Banks, I thought.
Yeah, but I'm starting to really not like her promos because she sounds like baby. She's had too many volumes.
Well, it's kind of weird because her promos used to be quite a bit better. And
these are just smarmy and bad.
I think part of it is she's supposed to be smarmy. But I think part of it is that I think Paige is like a lot like Dean Ambrose in the regard that you'll remember that when Dean Ambrose was champion on SmackDown, it was really bad, and people were like wondering. I'm like, I think it's that these are people who don't play the game. If you don't give me good material, I don't do shit with it. And I kind of compare Ambrose and Paige in the same way, that regard. They are quite capable of doing a really good job, but basically they call the writers on their bullshit. If you're not going to give me shit, I'm gonna go out there and take a deuce.
Correct.
And in the end, Paige kicks Mickie James in the head while the referee is distracted, and Mandy gets the pin. Then we had Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy in a promo off. And I loved this.
Yeah, this was all of the things that I was hoping for. Although I hope they kind of ramp it up. Like I want some live action back and forth.
I assume we're going there. I think it's... I heard a rumor that Bray Wyatt's still not 100% over the illness that he had before.
That would explain a lot.
He's gone... He's to the point where he's not contagious, therefore he can work with people and so on. But he's not... His energy levels are still very low. And I think that's probably why this is all pre-taped.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
And it was pretty good. Just the highlights were Bray talking about this being his favorite game, Light versus Darkness. Matt Hardy says the war has been raging for eons and has come to the WWE. Says that he, at one point, knew Sister Abigail before she developed her addiction to the darkness. And Bray Wyatt wants to know why people follow a court jester when they can follow the footsteps of a king. Problem there is that Bray Wyatt has pretty much been the court jester. They're both kind of the court jester. And we finish off with the Woken Warriors. We'll delete the Wyatt Swarm.
Delete, 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 delete.
And then we go to Enzo Amore, admiring himself in his belt. Gulak informs him that his match with Rich Swann is off for reasons we've talked about before. The kidnapping, forcible confinement charges against Mr. Rich Swann, and that looks a little dark.
Darknesses.
And there will be a last chance 4-way to face Gulak. And then Enzo makes a slip of tongue and mentions Nia Jax. And Gulak misrings things and thinks Enzo just wants him to be prepared for absolutely anyone. If it's Nia Jax in there with Drew Gulak, he needs to be prepared. So this was all fine.
I enjoyed it.
Finn Balor versus Curtis Axel. I am happy that they're giving Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel something to do while The Miz is gone, but it's not doing anything for any of these three to elevate them to any level that they're not currently at. And I think that's a misuse of Finn Balor.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He should be main eventing. There's like 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7 guys on the roster that are being held way the fuck down and should be main eventers, making the company, I don't know how many untold hundreds of millions of dollars that aren't allowed to do that. So it's all kind of boring. But in this particular match, I thought it was fine because they initially jumped him and then he basically kicked the shit out of him and then won the match. It was
better than the Bo Dallas match last week where it was pretty 50-50. In fact, I would even say 66-33 Bo in that particular match. Then we had Kane with a Boiler Room promo going back to the old days. He's talking about him and Bray heading to the Abyss. Not Chris Parks, I hope.
That would be good.
And most men fear the Abyss, but they are not normal men. Basically just, we're monsters, and he's going to delight at the battle of the monsters, and he's going to climb out of the Abyss, and he wants Brock. At this point, I hadn't realized this was a number 1 contenders match. So that was what clued me in. Then we had Seth Rollins versus The Sheamus. I liked this match. I actually really did. It was a nice contrast of the speed of Rollins versus the power of Sheamus. There was a lot of actual interesting working of the knee of Rollins. Nice variety of submission holds. But in the end, Rollins ducks the Brogue Kick, hits the Superman kick, or the Super Kick, and the Rainmaker knee for the 3 count. Pretty good match.
Yeah, not too bad. Just still not... every match I see Rollins in, I hope that it's the one that I watch that makes me kind of figure out why he's popular, and this still didn't do that. He still does the rain trigger of the 2 people who do the move. He's the one doing it the worst. So I don't understand why, and it looks bad. Like it looks like he's just gently nudging somebody with his leg. Like maybe it's an uncomfortable embrace, not so much a strike. So it's I would like to enjoy his stuff. It's just not good enough.
And then we had Dean Ambrose talking with Renee backstage. Renee wants to know his strategy for tonight's match against Joe. He basically doesn't have one, but he's, don't get kicked in the face, don't get caught in the coquina clutch. And Dean is really, really excited and overheated, and he wants to go face Joe.
Wow, I'd be excited and overheated if she was asking me questions as well.
Indeed.
But they're married, so,
Then we had the Fatal 4-Way, Alexander, Nice, Ali, and Daivari. Gulak on commentary. I like the fact that the heel on commentary made sense, talking about why does everyone else get a second chance to become number one contender? Why am I not just the number one contender? Gulak doing his politician stick of not really answering any questions about the match between him and Enzo if it comes to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it.
I thought it was the fact that they... who was asking them the questions?
Cole.
Cole? The fact that... and this happened a couple of times this week. The fact that the commentator can't commentate on a match is fucking alarming. Because all Cole did the entire match was just ram and railroad and try and do everything he could to only talk to Drew Gulak and only get one specific question out of him. At one point, I had to mute it. It was retarded. Yeah. I don't understand. Like, who decided that this was a good tactic?
I'm going to go with Vince.
Vince, you're a fucking moron.
Because they do this all the time when they have, Baron Corbin on commentary or Ziggler or, really any heel and even some of the faces.
But I mean, they had Drew Gulak on the 205 commentary and it was great. Oh wait, because there's only two commentators originally. Wow.
It's also because I think Vince McMahon has very little to do with it. And Nigel and Vic Joseph seems to take seriously that he's supposed to call the action, and Nigel knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Where did I leave off? We had the standard heel face dynamic here. Though Daivari did take out Nice by accident during the match, which I guess was supposed to start leading to Nice's face turn. I guess, I don't know. Ali hits the 054 on Nice, but Alexander saves the match. And then we have almost a repeat of last week when Alexander hits the lumbar check on Mustafa Ali. And Daivari almost steals the pin, much like Gulak almost did the other week. And Alexander, having none of that, though, prevents it. And in the end, he gets the win with the lumbar check to Daivari. And you know what? It was pretty good. The only problem with these Fatal 4-Ways has been the storyline of all three of them now has been incredibly similar. It makes sense, but I would have liked it if we could have given each their own feel. And they really didn't have it. Which is partially because all the 205 guys seem to work basically the same match all the time.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, Gulak informs Enzo that it will be Cedric Alexander versus Gulak. And Gulak lets it slip that he will win the title. And then claims that it's just friendly banter. But Enzo is not happy. Enzo is pointing out that Gulak is his employee. And he's about to talk about how his PowerPoints are soft. But Gulak says informative because Enzo stopped midway to chat with Nia Jax.
Much to Ollie Davis's chagrin.
Nia apparently actually really likes Drew's PowerPoints. And Enzo's like, I was just about to say, they're informative. And Nia says her and Enzo should talk when he's not busy.
Indeedly-doo.
Then we had Roman Reigns versus Cesaro. This was good because it's Cesaro and it's Roman Reigns, who, despite my otherwise problems with Roman Reigns, I mean he's a very competent worker.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of working of the arm, a lot of counter offense from Cesaro, which I like. Like Roman Reigns would go for stuff and Cesaro would seamlessly counter it. Very sweet.
Yeah, I think this is the finest Roman Reigns match that ever has been.
I would say it's top 5. I think I can name a couple that were better.
I don't believe you, but okay.
For example, his first match with Jason Jordan, I thought was better than this. Actually, it was quite fantastic.
I would disagree.
Yeah, fair enough. I think some of his other stuff has also been very good. But this was definitely up there. I think anytime you're wrestling Cesaro, it's going to bring some stuff out.
Yeah, Cesaro's one of those 5 or 6 dudes that should be main eventing everything all the time. I'm not saying he's wasted in a tag team, but it's definitely not where he should be. That being said, I'm kind of happy that Sheamus is getting help. Like he's got spinal stenosis, so his career is gonna be real short. So the fact that he's got somebody that can take up half of a match, or he can just be kind of included while somebody else has a singles match, I think is good. But I think that it's going to come time in the near future where you're going to have to, you really should, if not absolutely have to, move him back into a singles career and push the shit out of him, because he's fantastic.
Oh, he's fantastic. He's honestly, I would say, one of the top 5 guys on the Raw roster at the very least, if not in the company. And there was a pretty sweet one-armed powerbomb spot from Roman, which Cesaro kicked out of. And kind of interesting, they're referring to the neutralizer as the Gotch neutralizer now. I don't think they did that before.
Yeah, I've heard them say that a bunch of times.
Okay. But in the end, we get a spear for a 3 count because, Roman's got to go over here, which is fine. And then we had Braun Strowman with a promo. Wants another piece of Brock, and Kane won't be in his way for long. Moving on, we had Asuka versus Alicia Fox. But no Fox comes out. We get Absolution instead. Apparently they beat up Fox backstage. Paige offers Asuka an ultimatum to join them, or be moved out of the way, or move out of the way. I guess it was technically 3 options.
Fox did the worst sell job I have seen since Sonya Deville.
Oh, her selling is terrible.
I think I might have abraded my flesh. Ouchie, ouchie. Oh, we can go. No, I'm fine. No, we totally can take you. No, I'm okay.
What's with the British accent?
They just sound like, basically, she's trying to sell it like the opening scene from Monty Python and the...
Gotcha.
I'm getting better. And then she came out later with the fucking beatdown, but still kind of jiggling her elbow. Like, no, but I'm really hurt, guys. No.
Anyways, Asuka having none of Absolution. She strikes first. She's clearly better than all 3 members, but the 3 of them combined to be stronger than her. And then Sasha Banks leads the heels and the faces out to destroy Absolution, including Nia Jax. Which is weird, because I thought the idea of moving Nia Jax to do some stuff on 205 Live via the Enzo thing was to keep her away from Absolution. Yet here she is destroying them.
Yup, they don't know what they're doing. Doo-da.
Pretty much. Jason Jordan comes to apologize to Daddy. He talks about how his emotions and his intensity, one of the 3 eyes, got the best of him. And basically, babyface. Then he starts whining about not getting a match with Joe.
Yeah.
And Kurt basically tells him, I'm not just your dad, I'm the GM. And basically, fuck you. And Jordan leaves in a huff. This was better, actually, than some of the other stuff they've been doing with Jordan. But I'm still not I have not been a fan of this storyline since the beginning.
Yeah, I kind of was excited to see where it could possibly go, and it seems to be going places incredibly slowly. And that's about where that stands. I actually am enjoying Jason Jordan's end of this, but everybody else seems to be falling down, and I don't know why that is.
I've enjoyed some of Jason Jordan's stuff. There's been a couple of times where it's been a little too whiny.
That's part of the thing.
Because I would have him be a heel who's trying to exploit his relationship with Kurt to do something. I just wouldn't have him be utterly whiny. That's kind of where I would draw the line.
Yeah, they're not very good at. They can't do anybody who's brown that isn't a foreign heel. They can't do any heels that aren't cowardly, and they just can't. That's it. That's all there is. So everybody's a cowardly heel or a foreign cowardly heel. Those are the 2 choices you got.
Pretty much. Then we had Dean Ambrose versus Samoa Joe with Jason Jordan watching from the rampway. Dean was in control early, working the head and the knee of Samoa Joe. But Jordan makes his way down the ring to distract Joe. and then lend Dean a hand back into the ring before just basically backing right into a coquina clutch. Dean saves him with a big dive to the outside, but he also flattens Jordan in the process. Dean gets a visual pinfall because Jordan's distracting the referee. Dean gets in Jordan's face, gets bear hugged before Joe dives to the outside and destroys Jordan with collateral damage for Dean, and a little extra senton for Jordan on the outside, which was nice, kind of a "fuck you, kid" moment. And then Joe eventually chokes out Dean with the coquina clutch. At the end of this match, Booker T got really worked up over nothing because he clearly wasn't paying attention to the script.
Yeah.
Because Cole's basically agreeing him that Jason Jordan shouldn't be out there. And he's like, what do you mean, Jason Jordan? He shouldn't be out there! Booker, relax. I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, Booker T, I'm pretty sure, is having some sort of actual medical problem. I'm dead certain that we're actually seeing him die slowly every week. I'm not kidding or exaggerating. I think he's probably having seizures or something because none of his stuff makes sense. And it's 60% wrong. Like,
it's kind of making me wish for the days of Shucky Ducky.
I don't think he can remember how that works. Just verbally. I don't understand what's going on, why they still have him there. Apparently David Otunga is ready to come back. I'm ready for some bland nonsense.
Yeah, I know. That's the sad thing is I'm wishing for Otunga over Booker T. That's how bad that is.
I need somebody to just kind of shut. I need like a slightly less enthusiastic Percy Jackson or whatever the fuck. That's
after that, we learned that Dana Brooke has joined Titus Worldwide as the head of statistics and research and development.
Yeah.
And the Good Brothers are there to inform them that they are nerds before everyone scatters to make way for Braun Strowman.
Indeed.
Then we move on to Braun versus Kane. I had incredibly low expectations for this match. And it was pretty decent, actually. It was a decent big man match with the double count out after the obligatory destruction of the barricade. Has that spot has gotten really old, or is that just me?
Yeah. No, they've done that like 6 times this year.
And interesting note here. I had to quote The Simpsons in my notes. I always knew it would come down to this. You and I, metal stairs to metal stairs. And
I'm not really sure why they did that spot.
I laughed at it. It didn't make it make sense, but I did laugh at it. Then we had a double sit-up scene where Kane gets really freaked out that Braun sat up. This is a guy that's been feuding with The Undertaker for the better part of 20 years.
Yeah.
What the hell? You know what? Better than I expected, but seriously, just have these two feud, get a winner, and move on. Now we're apparently... The rumor is we're going to get a 3-way with Brock. Has that been confirmed, or is that still just rumor?
Not been confirmed, but they're going to do it, and it's going to suck.
Probably. And with that, we move on to SmackDown. Overall, Raw, not bad, actually. Pretty decent segments for the most part, but some problems, as always. SmackDown opens up with the Occupy SmackDown and Yep movement deal. This was not great. But then we had an AJ Styles in-ring promo talking about how he's a fighting champion and running down Mahal before the Sings come out and try to pretend to be babyface, basically. And I actually was kind of amused by this because he got to things like he thinks he can't tell us apart and he makes us wear the same clothes.
Yeah, I watched part of this. I thought it was kind of weird that one of the Singh brothers was just kind of like agreeing, but sort of disagreeing the whole time.
It was a bit weird.
It's like, yeah, but we like to dress alike. Yeah, but we like that thing. Yeah, but we like.
I think the idea was that one Singh brother had kind of like really turned the corner on Mahal, and the other one hadn't. Was kind of the idea.
Yeah, fair enough, I guess. But it was not done well.
But then it was revealed that they were both faking it, and they were really still with Mahal, so that didn't really even work. Mahal came out, and anyways, AJ not buying it, destroys the Sings again. Boom, done. Then we had Charlotte versus Ruby Riott with Nikki. I wish it was Nikki Cross on commentary. Natty Neidhart on commentary, and the Riott Squad at ringside. This was a quick match where Natty ended up hitting Charlotte and giving her the win by DQ, and the Riot Squad beat up Charlotte. Naomi to the rescue, Tamina to the rescue, Carmella to the rescue, Lana to the rescue. I guess we're getting a bunch of face turns in this whole thing?
I guess. I don't know.
Whatever. Daniel Bryan was talking backstage on his phone, talking to Shane. Sammy and KO leave a Occupy SmackDown pamphlet. Then we had Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler with Bobby Roode on commentary and a lot of hallelujah stuff. This was always going to go the exact direction it did. And Bobby Roode DDTs Ziggler to give Baron the win, and then DDTs Baron. So we get two quick DQs to open the show off. Fuck this.
Yeah, at least he got a good glorious cheer out of it.
True.
Dude looks good on camera. You know what? I would love to see an actual feud between Ziggler and Bobby Roode, but they're not allowed to wrestle in the wrestling company, and nobody gets over. So fuck it. Who cares?
Pretty much. Then we had basically a recap of the Fashion Files, which apparently is now a web series. Fuck this.
It's official. There's only one reason to watch SmackDown, and that's Owens and Zayn. There's not two reasons anymore. There's only one. What the fuck?
Basically, the Ascension aren't dead. They believe in their friends, which is the Fashion Police, who point out once again that they are not friends. And they apparently are going to face the Bludgeon Brothers and are very apprehensive about it, and probably they're going to get squashed.
Yeah, it's probably what's up. It's let's take the hottest angle of the year that you've produced at all by accident and bury it.
Pretty much. And then the Bludgeon Brothers squashed some jobbers, so continuing that theme. Then we had the Yep movement itself. They are united against management and for change. Daniel Bryan is the only man to answer their call, but it's to ask what the hell they're doing, and points out the Yes movement wasn't about him, and that's what makes the difference. It was about the fans and what the fans wanted and deserved. Sammy says, well, this is exactly like that, but this is what we want, what we deserve. And Bryan eventually makes himself the second referee for the Clash of Champions match. So that leads to some ugliness later on in the SmackDown episode.
Yeah, but it's only ugly on commentary.
Yeah, that's true. Then we had Rusev in English versus the Usos with New Day on commentary and Benjamin and Gable on the rampway. We get a little bit of a promo battle to start. And then we get the match. New Day throwing pancakes at Graves was kind of interesting. And the New Day in small doses on commentary, actually pretty fun. So I could see revisiting that, but not as a regular thing. And the match is pretty quick. The referee gets tied up with English, so a illegal Rusev gets to kick. I believe it was Jimmy in the head. And then Aiden English gets a pin with an interesting facebuster DDT type deal thing. So they get some momentum heading into the pay-per-view.
I enjoyed the Gable and Benjamin promo. I enjoyed that a great deal.
I've been liking them. I dig that tag team.
I was a little like somebody, I can't remember what it was, we're going to train you like dogs or something like that. And everybody, you could kind of hear everybody on commentary kind of go, like that might be a little touchy.
Maybe a little bit. AJ gets pumped while being interviewed by Renee. I would be too. Orton officially makes Nakamura his partner in a in-ring promo. And we get Nakamura versus Owens with their respectable partners at ringside. Respective partners, I should say. And Daniel Bryan on commentary. Say what you want about this match, and then I'm going to rant.
What?
Sami Zayn versus, or Kevin Owens versus Nakamura. Go.
Oh, that's fine.
Is that all you got?
The match was fine. There's nothing special about it. They won't let Nakamura do what he wants to do in the ring. They barely let Zayn and Owens do what they want to do in the ring. But they made the best of a shitty employment situation, and the match was fine. The commentary was the worst thing in the world. It was literally ear cancer that I had to turn off.
So to summarize the commentary, because I left it on, because I'm a frickin' sadist.
Yeah.
And a
Well, you know what I
masochist.
did is I turned it off, and then I found a Dave Meltzer excerpt
Yeah,
about him talking. He thought it was hilarious.
in
And
a bad way.
his theory is that one of two things. Either somebody or Vince was feeding him Vince lines, and your boy who gives negative 42 fucks was shutting that shit down with the quickness and just shitting all over Byron Saxton via Vince, or Vince via Byron Saxton, however that works. The other theory is that Saxton also probably has issues with stuff and was doing the deliberate Vince-esque kind of lines to give dude the feeding, but it was cringy and bad and horrible, and I can see where they were going, but I enjoyed it about as much as I would enjoy having anal beads pulled out of my dick hole.
Basically sums it up. To sum up, if you have not been treated to this monstrosity, Saxton was talking about how basically Daniel Bryan is clearly on the side of Owens and Sammy. One, I don't really like that because that's a quick build. Like, you're ruining the whole thing for the pay-per-view. It's like, I know he's going to side with the heels now at the pay-per-view. Thanks, Saxton. Thank you. But two, Daniel Bryan's talking about his history with Kevin Steen / Owens, where Owens tried to gouge his eye out in front of 300 people. And Saxton's response is, well, it wasn't for the WWE title, and it wasn't in the WWE, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Fuck off, Saxton.
He says it doesn't count.
Doesn't count. Well, it doesn't matter, doesn't count. Same
well, I'm just, I just like, just like, don't you get into that with me. I'll tell you what fucking counts, kid.
Daniel Bryan informed Saxton that he seems like a nice guy, but he's basically an idiot and is wrong. The match ends with Kevin Owens accidentally knocking out the referee. Daniel Bryan comes in and takes the shirt off the ref. He's a bit slow to count Nakamura's pin, so it's a 2, but not his fault. Like, it took him that long. Like, it wasn't a slow count, it just took him that long to get the shirt off. And then Orton sends Zayn packing from the ring. They brawl outside, but Zayn distracts Nakamura mid-Kinshasa, and Owens hits a power bomb for the 3 count. So, yeah, a lot of people have said this, and I'm just going to reiterate it. This spot would have been better served to be saved for the pay-per-view, instead of giving it away before the pay-per-view. That basically... Not that we didn't already know that Owens and Zayn, because of the getting fired stipulation, are probably going to win.
Oh, they absolutely are going to win.
Yeah. But this is like any remote doubt you had of it, chiseled away. Just take it away with a jackhammer.
Yeah, well, we'll get into this a little bit later. You got 2 options. They can't lose. That's 100% a thing. Or they can lose and then just show up next week anyway, and then you've wasted your goddamn time.
Pretty much.
Because maybe Danielson doesn't do the heel turn on the pay-per-view. Maybe he does it next week on TV.
I don't think he necessarily even needs to do a heel turn. He can call down the middle.
No, but I'm saying, like, if this is what they're doing, and it's pretty blatant, it's one of those things where it's so blatant they have to do it, they don't have a choice. Or they cannot do it at all, and they've wasted their goddamn time. But, so either they're going to win at the pay-per-view, or they're going to lose, and Danielson, who then maybe has had to have even counted the pin that got them fired, brings them back the next week, and it doesn't matter at all, and then, he does the heel turn then, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. They really shot their load early on this one.
Oh, yeah.
SmackDown gets a big thumbs down. I don't think that there was anything redeeming on this show.
Nah, there wasn't a ton. Zayn and Owens, that's it, really. Yeah. Zayn and Owens are the best part of the show, and really the only part you need to pay attention to. Unfortunately, because it really should be AJ Styles, who is great, but they keep putting him in the same fucking circus over and over. And, yeah, there's nothing, he's totally over with the crowd, and he's awesome, but... there's only so much you can do if you're in a fucking goldfish bowl when you should be in a giant pool. And I just want to see AJ Styles matches. I don't care about any of the... Can we just not do this anymore?
Yeah, can we just forget about the Jinder Mahal experiment and go on with our life?
Yeah.
We get 205 Live. We open up with Daivari and Gulak in the ring.
That's Andrew Garlic. Yeah, the Raw recap thing was cool. I mean, it's one more reason not to have to watch Raw. You can just watch 205 Live and you got all the spicy bits. So they did a big promo package on the Andrew Garlic, and then they have more Andrew Garlic because he comes right out there with Daivari and starts talking. I enjoyed the rib tape job, but it wasn't really well executed later. And then they did this awesome... He had the little promo, and they did this fantastic setup for the PowerPoint presentation!
I enjoyed Daivari's reaction to the PowerPoint presentation.
Good.
It's so good. Noam Dar, apparently, this is where they confirmed Noam Dar is going to be out for a bit with knee surgery.
Yeah, he's got knee problems. And, of course, we got the traditional Nigel McGuinness. Yes! I love... It's like he's hiding. I can imagine him kind of ducking down below the desk, not remembering that his microphone is on. He's like, yes!
The PowerPoint was supposed to be on successful knee rehabilitation.
Yeah. So that, of course, when they're launching into that, then Captain Zed himself, Zedric Alexander, came down with his shitty theme song. And the first note I have here is, I think I've seen this match about 1 billion times.
Yeah, well, my first was crowd is not really into this, and my second was I feel like I've seen this match like to infinity.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Gulak. I'll keep wanting to absolutely, and in my notes I write down Garlic a lot instead of Gulak. So I absolutely will flip-flop that. I love the fact that 205 Live has gone from being all about Enzo to being all about Gulak. It's all about Gulak, and I'm really enjoying that. I think, again, this goes back to your boy Enzo being so fucking good that everybody around him gets elevated to all new heights. And
except for Kalisto.
Yeah, well, there's nothing you can really do with a black hole. So, that's what it is. In this match particularly, he did great things with a megaphone. But I was torn because he was doing great heel things with the megaphone, distracting people, yelling at the crowd. I could have done with a little bit more of it, actually, but I also really wanted him to be on commentary. So I was a little torn. The match itself was fine. It was kind of more of the same between the two.
It was Alexander versus Daivari, and if you've seen one of them, you've seen them all.
Yeah, they did do some slightly different things here and there, but that's because your boy Andrew Garlic was interjecting himself, so there was different stuff to do. It wasn't exactly the same, but it was same enough. And yeah, it was like the match was fine. If you want to see a good match, this was a good match. It just wasn't any different than all the other good matches I've seen them have. We went to a promo backstage with your boy Zoe, who was interrogating Team PowerPoint. And Team PowerPoint are kind of like sticking up for themselves and defending themselves. And for a second, I was thinking, that's not a good idea. Like I love the direction they're going, and I love the character development, but don't they kind of need heels? And then I did a little quick arithmetic in my brain, and went, okay, the Zoe train's got like 4 people, including Enzo.
5 people if you include Dar.
Yeah. So, I was going to say 4 people, 5 people, including Enzo, if you include Enzo in his own train. So that's 5 heels, plus the Cruel Winter, which is 2 more heels, and that's like half the roster. So, am I missing somebody?
That's all the heels.
I feel like I'm missing somebody. But,
TJP is nominally a heel if he gets back.
There you go. So we got some of that action. And if they ever follow through on the Cedric Alexander thing, which is kind of a waste of time now that your boy Dick Duck is kind of in trouble. But
you could use Ali to do the same thing, though.
Yeah, that's true. I just kind of wish that they would have pulled the trigger on that before, and then we could have some interesting.
I just wish that had made some logical sense. Like, have Swan cost Alexander some matches. Like, as a tag team, they were undefeated.
Yeah, true. That would have made more sense. But basically, during this promo, Enzo's running everybody down, and then quickly and surreptitiously announces that Tony's going to have a match later with him, and then kind of books it. So I was really enjoying the character development in this one, and it was good. Then we cut to the ring with your boy Jacques Gallagher and the other guy. And
the man with the plan, Brian Kendrick.
Indeed, the man with the blueprints. He cuts a promo about Kalisto being handed all these opportunities. True. Heel, that makes sense. And
the only thing that didn't make sense about it is that Kendrick has been a glorified jobber his entire time since losing the title. So this would work better if Kendrick had, he doesn't have to be like squashing everybody or anything, but like give him some wins, and then it makes a bit more sense.
Very good, yes. Then we had Kalisto come down, and it was a fine match. It was a really good technical match. Jack Gallagher is an excellent technical wrestler, and he did excellent technical things, and he did really good. They were working Kalisto's leg. He caught a kick and slammed the leg into the ring post, and then worked the leg for the rest of the match, which magically the leg healed up and the injury disappeared when it was time to do things that relied on him jumping around, which is his entire offense. So, I mean, anytime Kalisto needed to be on offense, magically he wasn't hurt anymore. And then he was immediately hurt again. So it was kind of a really good match, spoiled by one guy not knowing how to sell and didn't have more in his arsenal than the basic lucha stuff.
Yeah. I did think that the match was a little too slow for what this crowd needed, just because the crowd was dead. And that's nothing new for 205 Live. The crowd is dead. That's just a permanent thing. But maybe throw this on Raw when the crowd's a little more alive.
Yeah, no, that's true. It may have been a better idea to do this match first, when people are, still awake. But they jumped on Kalisto, started beating the shit out of him, and your boy Grande Metallica came out and saved the day. And he did a bunch of cool technical shit that Kalisto can't do, so I don't understand why you bothered with Kalisto. You should have just been pushing Grande Metallica the whole fucking time.
I mean, don't get me wrong, moving Kalisto to 205 Live is better use than what they were using him for.
True.
We're saying this. Grand Metalik and Lince Dorado should be getting pushed so much more than they are.
Oh, incredibly.
And I will hype on that forever. Anyways, just to clarify, Kalisto did roll Jack Gallagher up for the win. We didn't really cover that.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't really matter, but it's good to just at least say who the winner was.
Yeah. So then I believe we had a promo again. I don't have notes on that, but I believe we had a promo backstage again with your boy Andrew Garlick coming up to Enzo, and he's like, "Dude, we don't really have to do this. It's not really, we don't need to go out there and fight Tony Nese." And
Enzo had the line of the night right here. Yeah. I'm like Dean Malenko. Just gonna go out there and show him some holds.
Exactly. I'm the best cruiserweight in the world. So that was cool. Again, great, excellent work from Drew Gulak. Then you had what I thought might have turned into... I thought this might have gone a couple of different ways. What actually turned out and ended up happening was Enzo trying to provoke Tony and punk him out and stuff like that. And it got to the point where Tony was pissed and he was actually going to start throwing down. And then he got suckered by Daivari?
Correct.
Yeah, so he was about to actually throw hands, and then Daivari suckered him, and they started kicking the crap out of him. Meanwhile, Drew Gulak is outside the ring going, "Dude, what the fuck? No, we can't do this. Is wrong." So I'm like, "Oh, face turn, cool. This is interesting." Which turned out not to be a face turn. I was kind of disappointed.
A little bit. This could be a delayed face turn where he feels incredibly bad about doing it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'm down with that. especially if he gets the win. What I'm hoping for is that he'll get the win for the match against Cedric Alexander, and then goes on to face Enzo, and then has his face turn. That would be awesome. And then we get like actual PowerPoint presentations, which are fantastic, because that's over as fuck, and people are just wanting to cheer him for that. And then, but what I was really hoping for is a match where it's very apparent that Enzo's trying to do stuff, and Tony just counters him the whole time without actually trying to hurt him. And
that would have been cool.
That would have been cool as fuck. And then eventually he gets totally pissed off and swarms Tony and beats him up, and then like gets everybody else in there. I thought that would have been cooler. But there was no actual match. It was just character development, which was fantastic. It's just that I
liked the character development, but I agreed with the crowd when they started this is boring. Like they took too long of Gulak. Too long of Gulak debating whether he should do it or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the deal is that if you're going to take that long to debate whether you're going to do it or not, you're not going to do it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like that should have been the face turn. The longer it took, I'm like, okay, so it is a face turn. It is a face turn, and then he attacks East, and I'm like, that was bad.
Yeah, no, it took too long for the wrong way to go on that one. But again, if it turns out that it is a face turn, like a couple weeks down the road, cool. I can see that you're going for a delayed thing, but in the moment, looking at this right now, it wasn't done the way it should have been done. And that's kind of all. Like, if he would have done a move and then maybe hit him a couple more times, poppity, 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 pop, and then just like walked off, then I can see a stronger indication that there's a face turn and he was just angry and he lashed out and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, but he beat him hard.
Oh yeah, he went like totally berserk, and so you can't really do a face turn after that unless I don't know.
Well, this is WWE, sir. They can always do a face turn.
They can try, and
the biggest face in
they fail.
The biggest face of the company is guilty of attempted murder.
Yes. So, and he's boring as fuck, and nobody gives a shit.
Then we have NXT.
Indeed, we do have NXT. We started with some guy named Already Seeing Llamas, who was officially described as unstoppable, based on the fact that he's never, ever defended a title.
I honestly took a lot less offense to the unstoppable than you did.
I thought it's ridiculously incorrect.
It's overhype, but at least he is undefeated since Vega became his manager. It was worse when I think it was 2 weeks ago they were describing him as like the greatest NXT champion. That made me vomit in my mouth.
That is true, although I'm used to that happening in the UFC when like anybody gets any win ever, and they're like, "This is the greatest fighter in this division of all time." Or one guy finally, like when Stipe Miocic won the heavyweight title, he was instantly the greatest heavyweight of all time. Period. No question about it. Greatest heavyweight champion of all time. No, bar none. Nobody else in the world was ever any better.
That's unfortunately how fans see it. Like, if you ever ask who's the greatest featherweight of all time, because I was having this debate with a Connor fan the other day, the answer is not Jose Aldo. Despite the fact that Aldo has the most title defenses, put the division on the map, did tons of things for it. People repetitively say, well, it's clearly Connor because he beat Aldo. Why?
No.
Using that logic, every current UFC champion is the GOAT. Because they beat the prior champion. So if your thought is that anyone is the GOAT at heavyweight outside of Miocic, if anyone is the GOAT at welterweight outside of Woodley, if anyone is the GOAT outside of, well, 205 is a bit weird because of Cormier, because John Jones beating Cormier, but then the drugs. But
the drugs.
If your thought is at bantamweight that the GOAT is not TJ Dillashaw because he's the champion, then this logic doesn't work. Like, what is the point?
My entire point is that I'm so used to that kind of ridiculous bullshit that somebody being called the greatest champion of whatever in pro wrestling is laughable at best and usually just totally ignorable.
I found it more annoying than Unstoppable because at least he's winning.
Fair enough. He's been a complete joke up until like 2 months ago. So it's another. To me, this is just another brown guy that they've decided to push into the main event scene for no reason. Unfortunately, and you can, if you want to talk about that being racist, it's not my racism, dude.
I want to be clear that I think Andrade Cien Almas, or La Sombra, is a fantastic wrestler when he is on his game, motivated, and trying. And we saw that with the Drew McIntyre match. But as you said, 2 months ago, he was a joke. He was not taking it seriously and not booked seriously.
Yeah. And he still doesn't take this seriously. You can pretty much tell. Anyway, I didn't know what was going on. This was incredibly badly produced while they're shouting about him being unstoppable. And then suddenly it turns out that they're not there to do a promo. I assumed they were there to do a promo.
There to have a match with Fabian Eichner.
Motherfucking Fabian Eichner. And I was suddenly excited. Holy shit, Fabian Eichner. He's fantastic. Very still confused. I have my note that says, oh, this is a match? The champ is the curtain jerker?
Champ is the curtain jerker against Fabian Eichner, who's had like 2 matches on NXT. What the fuck is this?
Yeah, and then it said, my next note says, actually that makes sense based on the actual talent on the card. Hashtag sad. That's your champ, and he's obviously the least talented of anybody else on the card, period.
Whoa, you're saying this with Peyton Royce on the card.
Yeah, I am. I just, like, there's no reason for me to be enthusiastic about already seeing Lamas. He's a shadow of Naito. He's not... He's got no personality. He can't speak English, so I don't know what he's saying, which isn't always a problem. But you're not Naito. Naito can communicate galaxies of information with a tiny shrug.
Galaxies of information by just putting his fingers to his eye.
Correct. And so, like, the match went this way. Eichner does amazing things. Eichner kicks the living shit out of the champion, and then the champion kind of suddenly wins because, Cecilia, you're distracting my heart. And my final note says, book that champ strong, son, yeah! So, yeah, bad opener, confused opening, bad booking, bad commentary, just was bad. The hyperbole was the worst. Then we went on to, this was, we should probably preface the whole thing by saying was this the first time that NXT was on TV?
I don't know.
I think this is the first time NXT was on TV. So this was on an actual channel. This was the USA Network, I think.
I believe so.
So this was all taped for TV, and we watched the unedited version, ? I can only imagine that the edited version, the shortened version for TV was a mess, a total mess. So a lot of these things were very quick, very short. This is the first time I think I've ever seen 4 matches. Was it 4 matches on the card?
It was 4 matches. I have seen 4 matches before. Usually when they do one of their, what I like to call new talent shows, where they kind of just do squash matches the whole way. Yeah,
fair enough. And then we had your boy Oni Lorcan come out, and everybody's jacked to the tits.
Ooh, you're missing the Sandy promo.
It's forgettable.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's cool because your boy the Axeman spoke some crazy German.
Yep.
That's about it.
I also like that he seems to be making eyes with Nikki Cross half the time in the promos, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Also, what's with his forehead?
That was part of the War Games thing. He took a chair to the back of the head or something like that?
Oh, no, it's just like I mean, like, some of the skin on top of his forehead just, like, kind of has a weird fold to it. Which is a bit weird.
I don't know, probably chair shot at some point.
Yeah, probably.
So Oni Lorcan comes out and everybody's jacked to the tits because Oni Lorcan is over as fuck. And then Danny Burch comes down and everybody's jacked to the tits and the rafters and everything else because Danny Burch and Oni Lorcan together are over as fuck. And was it Nigel who called them the Brit Am Bruisers?
Yes, sir.
Fuck, that was good. And then everybody started in the crowds chanting 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And Oney's holding up the number 1 because he always does that. And Danny Burch is holding up number 2. I don't know if that's a thing that he did before.
It is a thing he did before. I think it's just kind of an organic thing they've incorporated from both their gimmicks.
It's fantastic. So you got the old 1, 2, and then AOP's music hits, and then all hope.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My heart completely dropped because I'm like, oh, come on, maybe we're gonna get Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch are gonna get a win and do some things, and then AOP's music. And I'm like, oh, they're jobbing. Yeah,
you're talking about you now have the hottest tag team in the division, for NXT. They haven't even wrestled as a tag team yet. I think they had the 2-on-1 match against your boy Lark.
Oh no, they faced Riddick Moss and Sabatelli and did the job.
Oh right, so forgot about that. So you have the hottest tag team in your division, and they're jobbing? Question mark.
Yeah, this is a complete waste because after their series of matches, they really had some hype. Like the crowd is incredibly into them. I don't know if the
crowd is still incredibly into them.
I don't really think that there's like long-term investment required in Lorcan and Birch, but like ride the train while it's there. Yeah. Jesus,
just sick them on people. You have to face the old 1, 2 tonight. Fuck, you're gonna get the shit kicked out of you. And they had a brief moment in the middle of the match where the Brit and Bruisers went to town and lit AOP up, and then AOP just kind of won. They did a super collider. That was kind of the stiffest super collider I've seen, but it's still kind of really soft and weak. So probably don't do it.
They hurt a guy with it, so I think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's a very easy. So here's the deal: if you haven't seen the,
I know, we've explained this before. They just won't do it.
I'm doing it again. If you haven't seen the Super Collider, what they do is they get their opponents up in his powerbomb position up in the air, and then they kind of saunter towards each other and gently tap those shoulders together, and then they powerbomb them. What they should be doing is angling their opponent to the left, so that you can smack their backs together. There's zero consequence of their heads hitting, and then you powerbomb them. And you can do both moves with some force. This is just kind of like, cheers, mate, cheers, and then a powerbomb. And sometimes the powerbomb is really good, and sometimes the powerbomb is just kind of eh. So, I mean, either don't do it, or do it right. That's my thing.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see where you're coming from.
And then we had Amber Moon, for sure was going to lose to Rolls Royce. I've just got written down. Stupidly booked retardo match coming up. Amber Moon, who apparently everybody can't pronounce Ember, so Amber Moon is losing to Peyton Royce for no reason, incoming. Champ enters first. Champ losing confirmed. Nigel is fake as fuck when he tries to talk up the gruesome twosome. It's really bad.
Every time I hear him do that, I'm like, please tell me that the storyline or the actuality is you're getting head from them under the table repetitively.
Exactly. Like, dude, if you're getting some hand jobs and some blow jobs or whatever, go to town. Do your thing. But sound a little bit more enthusiastic about it. What do I have here? Small seconds of actual wrestling between a bad wrestler and a scared-to-get-hurt wrestler. Pointlessly, quote, competitive match. Book that champ strong, son! And then Nikki Cross showed up, and that's awesome. But fucking why?
Yeah. And the sad thing is, I think we're supposed to be getting Ember Moon versus Billie Kay next.
Fuck off! Fuck off with the bullshit!
Then we had a bullshit Street Talk episode. I will say it repetitively. I don't understand what the appeal of Street Profits are.
No clue what
I don't deny that there is clearly something there because people are fucking into them. I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't understand. I was watching a Steven Larson countdown today, and they straight up said that they love the Street Profits. They didn't say why, and I doubt they could really express why, and they're not good, and I don't enjoy them. Can we send them back down to, is there a level below not on TV? Send them back down to not on TV anymore, because they're not ready.
Well, they're getting too much of a response to do that with. Like, I recognize from a business standpoint, we're stuck with them. I just don't understand what the appeal's supposed to be.
No, I don't have a clue. Hopefully they're building them up. The Uriel brothers. I saw a pic a while back. There's this other guy that's in developmental and I guess has been for decades and has never been on TV as far as I know. I don't remember the name, but apparently they've kind of formed a trio. They're like big honking muscular black dudes. And so you got the Uriel twins, or as I call them, the urinal twins, and this other dude. And I'm hoping that they're building up the streetwalkers so that these other guys can come in and kick the shit out of them. That's my hope.
I doubt it, but you can hope that.
Yeah, I can and will hope. Then we moved on to the main event of the evening, which is Cole Black.
Yep, Adam Cole versus Aleister Black.
Black as Cole, baby!
I thought they did an undersell job of this, because you got two undefeated guys here, and normally the WWE would be beating us over the head with that.
Yeah, we were talking about this while we're watching it, and it doesn't make any sense to do it this way. That's why they did it. They didn't hype up the fact that both of these guys, don't even think I heard them mention it on commentary.
They did mention that Aleister Black was undefeated. They never mentioned that Adam Cole was.
Fair enough.
Cole may not be, now that I think about it, but I can't remember who he lost to if he did.
Yeah, I don't know. So it doesn't. When Cole came out, he sent Redragon to the back, so that he's like, "I got this, boys," and they had a really good match. Flat out, this is the show stealer because this was the only thing. But by the time we got to this match, I was so pessimistic and riled up that I thought there's no fucking way that they're going to do any of this right, and they did it all right. I was vaguely speechless. That's the only note I've got. Is like, holy shit, a good match that was booked correctly. I don't know what to say. There was a lot of good moves.
The only problem, I have two problems with the booking. Number one is I don't like this as an opening match for the tournament. I think that this should have been a semifinal or final match because these are, in my opinion, two of the guys who have the most momentum behind them in the tournament. You could argue Lars Sullivan's got a lot as well, but he's kind of a limited worker. Roddy Strong has always got kind of permanent momentum, but like you got Big Damo in the Final Four, and your point about building up Big Damo so someone can overcome him is a good one, except that you also are going to probably have Lars Sullivan in the Final Four. So you got two kind of big, limited dudes in the Final Four, and it's not great.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, you could easily... So, next week we're going to have Mr. Roderick Strong against Lars Sullivan. And the way you do this correctly is you have Roderick Strong overcome the mountain, but he's really fucked up. Like, he took a shit kicking from Lars Sullivan. And he's got to go up against Big Damo next. And he get, like, really, he's obviously hurt. He can't... he's got to overcome, and then somehow manages to do it again. And then you put him in the finals against the heel, and then, holy crap, you've got a megastar in your hands. Or, if you want some kind of awesome match, you delay it 2-3 weeks, you kayfabe the injuries out of existence, and then you have... isn't Gargano in the next round as well?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Nah, you can't have that many faces.
Yeah, I know. You can't do Roddy versus Gargano.
Oh, yeah, dude, I'd pay actual money for that.
I would pay actual money for that, but it's no heel. Like, that's the thing, is you've got Aleister Black in the next round, and you've got Gargano, and you've got Damo. So presumably Sullivan's going to beat Roderick to maintain the heel-face ratio. Yeah,
I can see that. They're dumb enough not to be able to book excellent wrestlers to have excellent matches, so yeah.
Well, they don't care about match quality. That's always been the case.
True. Sad. Hashtag sad.
NXT cares a little bit more, but, I mean, case in point, Peyton Royce is still challenging for a title. There was a while where Big Damo was going to be in the title match, and I like Big Damo, but he is not NXT main event level material.
Yeah.
And you've also probably got... I don't like where this match was placed, and I don't like the fact... I didn't really like the fact that Aleister Black seemed, like, bothered by the Adam Cole baby, after Aleister Black just had a feud with the frickin' Velveteen Dream.
How's my line, goddammit? But yeah,
I think we both have the same problem with it.
Yeah, it's like he was suddenly riled up because Adam Cole pulled a couple of fast ones on him and then got the crowd to cheer. Like, ooh, really? Aleister Black, the Aleister Black, is gonna really care and get angry about that after some dumbass kid in some purple track shorts try to get him to say my name, baby?
Say my name, and he said his name too.
Yeah.
Like a fun match, and I did like the ending where Black pulls up Adam Cole for the Black Mass kick, and Cole's like, "Hit me with your best shot!" Bam!
Down. All you got? No, I have this.
I have this. So yeah, Aleister Black moves on with Gargano and Big Damo, aka Killian Dane, and Lars Sullivan will meet Roderick Strong next week to decide who the fourth member is.
Yeah, so you know what? If it was me booking things, I would totally have Roddy Strong in the next round. I would not have... Who did Damo beat to get in again?
Trent Seven.
Oh, you know what? I'd rather have Trent Seven. If I was booking things, I'd totally have Trent Seven.
I wouldn't have had either of them. I would have had both of them do jobs in the first round.
Yeah, I guess. But I mean, Trent Seven's fun. I like Trent Seven.
He's fun, but like, if we're talking about it, we got 8 guys. And if you're telling me these are the 8 guys I got to work with, like my final 4 is Cole, Black, Lars Sullivan had the big monster in there, and then either Gargano or Strong. Like,
yeah,
I'm not interested in having Seven or Damo or Cassius Ohno in the next round. And I love Cassius Ohno.
What if we could have Tyler Bate versus Roderick Strong?
You were the one telling me I couldn't have Tyler Bate.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, you brought up Tyler Bate, and I said, well, you can't because he's supposed to be on the British show that will never exist.
Well, so is Trent Seven.
Exactly.
So none of this makes sense.
Tyler Bate must be protected. Tyler Bate does not do jobs in the first round of anything.
Well, I wouldn't have him do the job in the first round.
Correct.
But, I'm fine with Trent Seven jobbing.
Correct. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those matches, one of these tournament matchups that I would. There's a lot of things you could do differently. Fuck, I'd put the Brit Am Bruisers in there. But if it was me, I'd have a much larger tournament, and there would be things and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I would have done a larger tournament because
I hope it
like 8. Like that's the thing is like if you were gonna go with the cream of the crop, like 8 was too many because Gargano's basically on kind of a losing streak right now, which basically was the theme of his match with Cassius Ohno. Ohno's on a losing streak right now. And Trent Seven's on a losing streak right now, so like doing an 8-man tournament with like a bunch of guys with no build behind them, kind of dumb. And if you wanted to include those guys, you should have gone bigger, or you should have done a 4-man tournament with like Cole, Black, Strong, and then not Strong, Sullivan, and well, you could do Killian Dane or Roderick Strong.
Yeah,
as the 4th guy.
Yeah. So this. And the reason I brought up to cap off the NXT, the reason I brought up the TV tapings is that 3 out of the 4 of these matches were fucking garbage because they were fucking rushed because they had to be edited for TV. So if that's the case, stay off TV. It's hurting me in the brain.
Or book 3 matches.
Or book 3 matches, yeah. I mean, if they're going to do the unedited version for the WWE Network, cool. I'm fine with it. Just never do this again because everything was rushed and badly done, and then we finally got to the main event, and even that was kind of rushed. So it was an experiment gone wrong, but it was the first time doing it, so I'm willing to give you the pass, but if it continues to go like this, it's gonna be not good.
All right. So let's see here. We have any wrestling news to talk about real quick? Well,
I have some rumors and some things jotted down. Yeah,
I was gonna nail the global G1 Tag League first. The winners of the G1 Tag League are Sonata and Everything is Evil. Which I'm a big fan of. A fantastic match with Gorillas of Destiny to close off the tournament. Had some very big star-making performances. Best friends of Chuck Taylor and Trent Beretta. Fantastic tag team.
Indeed.
Love it.
And the Death Juice.
We got We got a reasonable amount of exposure also for guys like Kitamura and Hanari in the tournament, which is good. Try to kind of make the young lions into something.
And Kawada's a spicy little asshole.
Yeah, Kawada's an asshole. Well, he wasn't in the tournament, so I wasn't bringing him up, but he is an asshole. He was in the junior heavyweight version of this tournament.
Yep.
So you got that. KES is awesome. So we're gonna get KES versus Sonata and Evil. LIJ versus Suzuki Gun at the Wrestle Kingdom.
Correct.
Nice. So what else you got?
Well, we got the obvious, which is Rich Swann is out on bail at the moment, but was arrested for, I believe it was kidnapping and false imprisonment.
Forceful confinement.
Wow. That sounds like a hot Saturday night. Anyway, if you haven't read the news, basically he and the girlfriend were having an argument. She got out of the car. He forcibly returned her to the car, and the cops showed up and threw him in jail. So there's a bunch of domestic shit going on, and WWE has suspended him indefinitely because they have a zero tolerance policy. And Rich Swann is not a star, so he's going to get cut. That's all there is to it.
Pretty much. I think they'll probably wait until see if it looks like he's going to be actually found guilty and then cut him.
No, they won't wait.
I think they'll wait a little bit.
Contractually, they have to wait, yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll wait.
Ron Killings announced that he's been injured. I hadn't noticed.
I had noticed he wasn't around, but he's disappeared before without any real explanation, so I didn't find it odd.
Yeah. Some porn star chick, Mia Khalifa, started talking shit about wrestling, and I have it on...
talking about how her morals wouldn't let her... Like, her pride. Oh? No, it was pride. Her pride wouldn't let her view pro wrestling as like a legit art form, and I'm like, you are in porn. Or, you were in porn.
The follow-up, yes, she was a porn chick, but also apparently, from some of the comments I've seen on some things, she was so fucking bad at porn that she couldn't get over as a hot chick fucking.
Oh, I would disagree. She got over. Like, she became the most searched porn star and got enough money to retire and do some shit. I mean... Yeah,
but didn't she only get famous because some famous dude tried to fuck her and she went on, like, exposed them on Twitter?
No, well, there was that. It was Drake. But,
lol.
but no, she was famous before that. Like,
okay. Well,
I'm not saying you have to like Mia Khalifa for porn, and if you didn't find it a thing or whatever, but to deny that by porn standards she was a worldwide phenomenon is pretty dumb.
Yeah, no, I didn't know who the fuck this chick was beforehand, and
I don't mind admitting I've watched porn.
No, hey, wait, dude, I'm an adult male and I've got the internet. Just, that's the end of that conversation. But I don't know who this chick is. Didn't know who she was before.
At this point, she does a sports talk show, and she basically does a lot of, like, she does and says a lot of stupid things. Yeah. That are even dumber when coming from a former porn star is basically what it boils down to.
So, yeah, but like I said, I saw more than, I'd say, a dozen comments saying that she was bad at being a porn star. So if you can't be hot and fuck on camera and get over, maybe you should just shut your mouth.
Well, I mean, she did get over on camera. Just because those people didn't like it. I mean, I can see why she's got the big head about it. Like, she is really an international celebrity and has transcended porn in a lot of ways. But
fair enough. This is the first time. No, this is the second time I've heard of her because I'm pretty sure I remember maybe it was Philip DeFranco talking shit about her or when the whole Drake thing happened. But
no one was talking shit about her when the Drake thing happened. Like, people were talking shit about Drake.
Yeah, fair enough. But I remember it coming up somewhere. Like, some YouTuber made a video and he's like, yeah, this chick over here, she's fucking just outing people. Anyway.
Yeah. She is not a quality human being, and I don't say that because she was a porn star or anything. I say that from, honestly, her actions post-porn have really revealed a very ugly on-the-inside person.
Fair enough. Apparently Lesnar is... The rumor is, and I don't know where the rumor comes from, but the rumor is that Lesnar, after his contract expires, will be heading not to the UFC, not re-signing, he's going to go to Hollywood. So
he's supposedly going to play Ivan Drago's son in an upcoming Creed movie.
I don't know if that's a thing. I know that Sylvester Stallone tweeted that out, and then nothing else has come of it. So who knows? That could be a thing, but as far as I know, it was kind of a one-off joke that might have some legs.
I think it probably has some legs, and maybe Stallone is interested in the concept.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, definitely. Who wouldn't want to put that on camera? That'd be. But what we really want to see is we want to see Lesnar in the next Undisputed movie.
Scott Adkins versus Brock Lesnar. Oh.
Yep, that tingled my prostate.
Although to be honest, I feel like the next Undisputed movie needs someone other than Scott Adkins as the hero. They've kind of violated the prior existing pattern of the villain from the prior movie becomes the hero in the next movie.
Well, what they could do is they could do the counter to the counter of the sequel, and they should bring back Michael Jai White.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? What else is happening? Oh, apparently TNA stars are leaving, kind of not in droves, but in trickles. Also, EC3 and Bobby Lashley's contract expire early next year.
Yep.
So that could be. I assume that they're not going to re-sign them because they're losing so much money you can't afford them anymore.
The only problem is those are like their two biggest stars.
Yeah. So do they mortgage their entire future to have two guys, or maybe pay 5 or 6 guys then?
Here's the problem though, is I think they need a star to build around.
Yeah.
Not like a guy or whatever. Like I'm not a fan of the one guy thing, but I think you need somebody that you built up to a level. Like, you can't clean house the entire main event scene, because that's what they're doing, because you got Eddie Edwards talking about leaving. James Storm has confirmed that he's leaving, or has left, I should say. So, and then John Morrison, Johnny Nitro, he's talking, like, when Lucha Underground starts up again, he's going to be part-time in Impact. Yeah. And then I wouldn't recommend relying on Alberto Del Rio, just full stop.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's that. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I think if they let their big stars go and actually try and rebuild and build some cheaper, but a lot more less expensive talent, then maybe they got
put it this way, I would probably ditch Lashley because I feel like they're overpaying Lashley. But I feel like EC3 is worth keeping at the price they're probably paying him. So I don't think he would have the inflated price tag.
That's possible. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what goes on. And the final rumor of the week is, well, part of it's not rumor and part of it is. The part that's not rumor is that Vince McMahon apparently has set up another independent entertainment company.
Oh, the XFL shit!
And there's talk that he wants to reboot the XFL. So, this could be a shit show. The problem is that
this is a shit show.
Well, here's hoping. But there's talk that even though the companies are completely independent, if Vince McMahon is in charge of both, one could affect the other, even though... And apparently he's not using WWE money. He's using personal money. He's trying to get investors.
Well, the concern is...
He's trying to get, TV deals.
The concern is back when they did the XFL before Vince McMahon. Think about it. Running the world's largest wrestling promotion and trying to run a football league, there's only 24 hours in a day. That's what that boils down to. And apparently, and I'd listened to some stuff that Meltzer was saying, and he said at the time they were doing the XFL, everybody was pretty much just dying on the vine because there was not enough time to do both. So at this point, and here's where my interest peaks, is not so much with the XFL, although I might actually watch football if that thing is brought back. My thing is, if Vince decides at his age that he wants to really make this work, it's a thing he wanted to do, it's a thing he's committed to doing, and he goes to do that, and he leaves the WWE in the hands of the people who now pretty much run it anyway, really. So you get
the McMahon-Helmsley era taking over. And I hope, like, as a side note, I hope they fold Shane back in because Shane always had the best ideas. Shane always had the best future thinking ideas that would have been the best. If anybody had acted on half of Shane's ideas, the world would be a different goddamn place. However,
I doubt it.
I don't think it's going to happen, but that's just a side note. So my hopes and dreams lie in the fact that he does commit to this. Things do go his way for this XFL reboot, and he goes to do that. And he leaves the wrestling business in the hands of people who actually have a clue what they're doing.
Problem is, he's leaving it in the hands of Triple H and Stephanie, who I don't think have a clue what they're doing.
I would disagree. I think they're hampered by Vince.
No, I agree with that. But I fully believe that Stephanie McMahon does not know what she's doing. Because she has... Think about this. Stephanie's been in charge of creative at various points of the company for years, and those were dark periods of creative.
Fair enough.
Additionally, if you look at how she handles her own character, I don't think she has any idea of what works in the wrestling industry.
That's very possible. However, again, I think there's a lot of Vince holding things back.
Yeah, but you would think that she would at least alter her own character. And this is also, it's her public persona as well, which I think Vince has nothing to do with.
That's possible, and it's something that I would like some time and space to actually find out.
Like don't get me wrong, I think that WWE is in for an upturn with Vince McMahon if Vince McMahon steps away or dies or whatever the case may be that gets his hand off the controls. Yeah. I just don't think Stephanie is really part of a bright future, and I don't really think Triple H is either. I think what we give credit to Triple H for is not what he knows. I think that Triple H has realized that at some point he wants to put his stamp on the wrestling industry as something other than Stephanie's husband, and that has left him open to listening to people who do know what they're doing. Yeah. Specifically looking at the William Regals of the world and other people. He knows nothing that Vince McMahon doesn't necessarily know. He probably knows some. He's younger or he's more in touch, whatever. But in terms of his general wrestling knowledge, I don't think it's any better than Vince's. I just think that he's more open to listening to people than Vince is.
That's all I want. That is literally all I want.
But if you look at again at how he kind of pushes his character again, I think you have the same problems.
That's possible, but he's willing to listen, and that's all I want, because Vince doesn't have a clue, and Vince doesn't get outside his own skull.
It's a flip of a coin, though. If he ends up listening to the right people, it's great. If he's listening to the wrong people, we're headed for more of the same.
I'm willing to find out, man. Things have...
Oh, yeah, no. Like, I'm... At this point, I'm game for any change that happens, because what we have right now sucks.
Things have got to change, and we can't wait 30 years for them to change. That's all there is to it. Because then I'll be dead.
You might be alive.
That's very possible. So I think that's everything I can come up with.
Yeah. You want to do a quick fancy book of Clash of Champions?
Show.
All right. We have got pre-show Zack Ryder versus Mojo Rawley.
Mojo Rawley goes over because heel.
Shame. I think the Zack Ryder train is non-existent. I think if they wanted to do something with him, it would have already happened.
Yeah, that guy's got major pop with the crowd. He's very well loved. Everybody wants to see him succeed, so therefore they're burying him.
Yep. This, mind you, this is Wikipedia order. This is not the order they'll eventually be.
Yeah.
AJ Styles, Jinder Mahal.
AJ Styles should go over. Therefore, one of the Singh brothers will accidentally become champion.
I'm going with AJ Styles to retain. They had Jinder do the job in India to Triple H. Yeah, I think at this point they have realized that the idea that he's going to drive business in India is a faulty one. They came to this conclusion way too late, but I think they're there finally, and there's no point putting the title back on him at this point.
No. There's talk about having Mahal win and then immediately lose it again at the Royal Rumble. I say immediately like it's not going to be a month. But there's talk about that. Doesn't make any sense.
No.
Therefore, I'm scared that's the way they're going to go. But yeah, AJ should retain. Just fucking put your top guy on top, for fuck's sake.
The nonsensical triple threat match for the U.S. title, Baron Corbin, Bobby Roode, and Dolph Ziggler.
I really want Ziggler to just snatch that title and super kick everybody. I really want that to happen. But Baron Corbin will retain because heel.
I'm going to go with Bobby Roode.
You know what? There's zero build-up. You're totally right.
I'm going to go with Bobby Roode to win the belt. I think they want to get the title off of Corbin. His booking indicates such, and the fact that he still apparently has some heat.
Yeah, I can see that. There's a pointless triple threat match, so therefore any interference could totally excuse the character losing the title. Yeah, I can see that happening. I still think, again, the worst possible outcome is that Baron Corbin just squashes them both and walks off with the championship. Yeah. So that's probably what they're going to do. But yeah, no, you're totally right that Bobby Roode should get the title.
Charlotte Flair versus Natty in a lumberjack match for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
I have a weird feeling that there's going to be some major fuckery. Charlotte might retain on a DQ.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling as well.
Some dumb shit like that, or maybe they do some horrible shit to Charlotte and then Natty wins because Natty's been campaigning and trying to make friends with all the lumberjills. Therefore, she should lose, but she won't.
I think she will. I think Natty's title reign was a courtesy more than anything else. I think eventually you go back to Carmella being heel, so you want her to cash in on a face champion.
Yeah, that's
true.
And
that's Charlotte.
Yeah, and I mean, so we're saying that neither one of them will win, but we're going to have a new champion anyway.
I think, I don't... you know what? I hadn't thought of that. Carmella could totally cash in.
Yeah, she totally could. And it's a great excuse. You've got both of them having the shit kicked out of them by the lumberjills, and therefore...
I'm going to go with that, actually. I'm going to go with Carmella cashes in and takes the title.
Yeah, it makes the most sense. Therefore, it probably won't happen. I don't know. I'm totally torn between Charlotte just retaining the title and all of the fuckery known to man, and then bullshit. And then Ellsworth comes down and snatches the title and then flees off to PWG.
Fatal 4-Way WWE SmackDown Championship match. Usos, the champions, defending against New Day, Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable, and Rusev and Aiden English.
I would put the titles on Rusev and English. That's me.
I would not, because I don't. I would put it on Benjamin and Gable. That's what I would do. My thought here is this is a way to get the titles back on New Day without revisiting New Day Usos feud. You put the multi-man match in. You have the New Day probably pin Aiden English, pick up the titles. Going with New Day to win.
There's no point in the New Day having the titles at all, and the Usos are tolerable or worse.
I like both teams, but I would like to see some new blood in that picture, which is why I would go with Benjamin and Gable.
I just think they owe it to Rusev for booking him as shittily as they have.
Whoa. WWE never owes you shit. That's what we have learned.
Both dicks.
That is what we have learned.
They can suck multiple dicks. I don't care. They owe it to Rusev and maybe Shelton Benjamin as well. Although Shelton Benjamin, how many times that guy's been an Intercontinental title holder? Let me look here.
Okay, I'll dive into Orton and Nakamura versus.
Hold on. He's been Intercontinental Champion 3 times, U.S. Champion 1 time, Tag Team Champion 2 times with the House of Pain.
Charlie Haas.
And 2-time Wrestling Observer Most Underrated Wrestler winner, 2005. Oh, 3 times, 2005, 6, and 7.
Then we have Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. By the way, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as a team now have their own Wikipedia page.
Next, pop quiz, hotshot.
Okay.
How many times has Shelton Benjamin won the OVW Tag Team Championship?
Having not watched OVW, I have no idea. I'll go with 4.
That is correct.
Damn, I'm good.
Would you like to guess the 2 tag team partners he won with?
Wasn't Charlie Haas one of them?
Negative.
Negative. Okay, then I honestly have no idea.
Red Dog.
Red Dog Bull Buchanan.
Incorrect.
There's another Red Dog?
That was Charlie Mack.
Rodney Mack. Rodney Mack.
Yeah, same thing. And drum roll, please.
Right, Bull Buchanan was B squared.
Right. Drum roll, please. He won the OVW Southern Tag Team Championship 4 times, once with Red Dog, and 3 times with Brockelstein.
I forgot that. I did know about the Brock Lesnar thing. That was that was part of what they hyped up when they brought Benjamin to SmackDown to be part of Team Angle against Brock Lesnar.
Yeah. So I think
that was the idea. Was Charlie Haas had been his roommate and Shelton Benjamin had been his tag team partner.
Yeah. So yeah, my best possible scenario again for the 4-way tag titles is Rusev wins. They will probably put the belts on New Day, but they shouldn't. And so the worst possible outcome is that the Usos retain, so that's probably what's going to happen.
Then we have Randy Orton and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Double special guest referee Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. We've basically given away our picks for this.
Yeah.
Owens and Zayn go over.
There's zero chance that Owens and Zayn lose. But if they do, guaranteed on SmackDown, then Danielson does the heel turn, or maybe they do a double turn where Shane McMahon is clearly the heel in this situation, being such a fucking asshole, and Danielson is being a stand-up guy and sticking up for his friends, and so they lose the match at the PP Vizzle, but he brings them back the following week on TV. They beat the shit out of Shane McMahon and send him packing. They've been teasing this whole get rid of Shane McMahon thing for a while, so they may do it at the pay-per-view. They may do it on TV.
I think it happens at the pay-per-view, in my opinion.
It would be the better move, but they might not do that. I don't know.
So you're to a degree saying that the John Cena getting fired after losing to the Nexus could come into play.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've done it so many times with so many people, and it's so boring that they'll probably go that way.
And then finally, we have Breezango versus the Bludgeon Brothers.
Yeah, Bludgeon Brothers will squash them for 0 reason, and it's the worst possible outcome, therefore that's the way they're going to go.
Agreed. That does, to be honest, though, if Ethan Carter III becomes a free agent and signs with WWE, bring him into the Fashion Police to reunite with his former tag team partner, Johnny Curtis.
That would be shiny and chrome.
Mm-hmm. So that's our predictions. We also ran down WWE and the news. As per usual, join us next week and get off of Byron's lawn. I don't know how many times I have to tell you that.
At least bring beer.